All right, YouTube. So, as you know, if you've been subscribed to me for more than like 2 weeks, that I've been following the series Married at First Sight. Really just this one couple because they displayed the dynamic where the whole entire relationship is controlled by the woman's desires, and how the guy is just really has no shot at really anything. No being the leader, no nothing. So in this particular episode, they're going over the sexting. So we're going to do that and go from there.
Very quick.
So does that mean that you
Gosh, why are you making this so awkward right now?
you're just sexually attracted to me, girl?
Oh my
Just
gosh.
saying. You wanna check my belt time? Take your time now. Take your time. You do time.
Well, yes. That is what that means.
Now, I can really tell that we are growing closer. That you are growing closer to me. You're showing way more affection. Than the first few days that we had together, right? When we first met. But sometimes I feel like our intimacy, I'm not saying can go to the next level as far as sex, but just particularly, can do a little bit more. Maybe just a little bit.
It's not that I'm looking at the time to say, like, it has only been 2 weeks, but the logical side of me is like, it has only been 2 weeks.
Right.
So
I think that there is some progression, or there are some levels between where we're at now and sex, right? Do you feel as though there's levels in between where we're at and sex?
I feel like in my past, there has not been levels.
So you went from X to having sex.
I mean, well, they were like situationships, so it wasn't like a relationship. It was like, this is all we're here for. My past, has made me who I am today. I stayed in situationships much longer than I should have.
All right, I know I let it play like extended, but I had to let that whole thing play out. So here you see we have a chick and she has been single prior to doing this for 10 years. So she's been doing situationships, or we're just here for sex, as she admitted herself. And now you're in a situation to where she has she's married now. This is her husband. Her husband. She's mentioned, oh, it's only 2 weeks, but this is her husband. And he's the good earner, provider or whatever. And he's the understanding guy, but he has a good house, blah blah blah. And he's still just like, so where are we? Are we like getting up there yet? I mean, it's moving kind of slow. And as you see, he kind of questioned her with the, hey, where are we? I mean, does that, your past, is that kind of, you moved fast then, but now it's like, now you just don't want to do anything. And this is I picked it up from the Red Man group. I think his name was Rolo. And he said, women make rules for betas, but then they break rules for alphas. And I said before, when I did this, that you can tell that her respect level for him is just, it ain't shit. It's non-existent. Because it's like, nigga, you're going to wait on me. I don't give a fuck. Now, every time I have this conversation with a woman, she says, oh, so we're just supposed to keep making the mistakes and blah, blah, blah. Which to us sounds like an incredible excuse to just pull some bullshit, because let's be real here. The guys she stayed in those situations for a little too long. Imagine you dropping them in this exact same situation with the Married at First Sight. Is she still talking about some, oh, let's wait? Is she still talking about some, oh, it's only been 2 weeks? Or just like, oh, this is so fun. That's the issue that men have with situations like this.
And me personally wanting to do something different and get different and better results from the past, that was something that I knew I needed to work on personally. So that's why I want to take it slow with my husband.
And then so why did you?
Because I was human and I was listening to bodily urges, and that was what I wanted.
And it ended?
So what is she listening to now? If she was in situationships before this and she was listening to bodily urges, what is she listening to now? Her, are you going to say, oh, she's listening to her mind, he's listening to her growth, common sense, or her lessons or whatever? Like, this is a marriage, not a situationship. What the fuck? That's how it doesn't relate. It's totally irrelevant to now. It's not a he about to pull up. It's not a he ain't even take me up. This nigga married you and is look, dude, if you watch this show, you see that this guy's like, I'm totally open to you. I'm going to the eye of my world, or whatever the fuck that saying is. So how the hell can you say that you're using that as a reference point?
They would end because I would feel like, oh, because we're having sex, we should be in a relationship, but I was doing it backwards.
She was doing it backwards. Okay, fine. Now this obviously would be the proper order, right? Because it's the other way around. You're actually legally married, right? So what really is the problem now? What is the problem now? Because you're married now. You're the total opposite of what you were doing. So that means the sex is opposite as well.
Did you start catching feelings? Mm-hmm. Gotcha. And so, in regards to our physical intimacy, are you using your passes?
I'm trying to use it as a lesson learned not to have sex too fast. Because I don't want the sex to be like, oh, I only like him because of sex.
Even though, yeah.
Now, with that being said, he said, are you using your past? Well, I forget exactly how he worded it already, but he said, are you using your past to determine how you're going to operate now? And she absolutely is. She gave some off-worded ass thing, but she absolutely is. He is paying all of the debts that the other dudes piled up. That's what he's doing right now. He's doing I read a lot of these Twitter things where it says a woman is not a counselor or some shit like that for a broken man or whatever. Well, what the fuck is he then? If women are supposed to be having to fix broken men, what is he doing? Because this seems to be applauded anytime it takes place. Isn't she considered broken right now? Because she doesn't want to do anything outside of what makes her happy, even though, ladies, I'm pretty sure any of you who said, what is she supposed to do? You're a union now when you're married, right? You're one, right? Isn't it what's the best for the both of you? And when you have kids, however many of you, it's not fucking about her. It's about the two of them, but he's the only one that's really, really sacrificing anything. And this is exactly what I mean when I see y'all in on YouTube, social media, everything, where y'all try to say men and women being hoes is exactly the same thing, saying that they're equivalent. Saying that women being easy and men is being easy is the exact same thing, and they're equivalent. They're fucking not. She can't even operate. It appears from the editing of the show that she can't even operate within the marriage because I have to make sure he's not like all the other ones. Like, really? All the other ones were married to you? You didn't even get a relationship for 10 years.
Old Deanna is very blunt and straightforward. I do not have time for you. I do not want to talk to you. No dates, no nothing. And we'd always just kind of roll our eyes, just like, oh God, here she goes. So I definitely think the change in Deanna from then to now and her growth as a...
Now, this is a hard one to even think about, like, and try to dissect, because if she hasn't been in a relationship in 10 years, but she's had situationships, and then now her friend is saying that she's very blunt because she won't even give a dude a date. She won't give a dude anything. How the fuck did all that work together then? The dudes that she was interested in so basically that was a straight to the bed type thing. So if it seemed, Again, none of this is making sense of how they're trying to put it together as a, like her friend just said before I cut it off, growth. It still just sounds like bullshit. Like she doesn't really like this dude. She doesn't really respect this dude. Everything is a test, a level, a task, a this. And nothing seems to be about the two of them. Listen, if you watch the show and you disagree, go ahead and try to prove it. But I think she's full of shit. And I think when you end up in a situation like this and you have to constantly prove something, this is why dudes don't want to do it anymore. Because we kind of figured out that when you are fucking, his name I think is Greg. When you're Greg, you're fucked. Because you are at her mercy at all times. You can't be the type of dude Greg is and get the same respect and same effort. Because it's going to be lopsided. Yeah, if you think I'm wrong, prove it. But I'm out. Be right, not positive.